Hey everybody, I'm Derek Ritter from Ritter Craig, and today we're going to talk about gliders. Give you a little example of play. So the scenario I chose was Pegasus Bridge, and I'm going to do like a little modified version of it. This is actually a night scenario. I won't do it as night, but and the reason I chose it was one map. It was 5 gliders, pretty easy stuff, and Germans are all hip, so I didn't really have to set anybody up for the Germans. So let's take a look over here at our cloaking display. So we have 5 gliders. Each glider, because it's British, can hold 29 portage points. So that'll be more than enough to hold the 9 squads, 2 leaders, and 5 support weapons for the British order of battle. And the Germans are hidden somewhere on the map. They actually aren't, but we're going to pretend they are. I might pop them up in random places just for fun, for the sake of the example. So let's get to it. So first thing we're going to do, we're going to put our British stuff into the cloaking box. So like we said, they can hold 29 each. So that'll be 20 each. And then we will throw some leaders in there. And we don't want all our eggs in one basket, so we'll split support weapons up without the leaders as much as possible. Okay, well, we'll try that. All right, now, next thing we do, we have to take our gliders and place them down on the ILHs, or the initial landing hex. So this is where we would like them to come down. So let's place one here. Let's place one here. Now notice the wind is coming in this direction. So with gliders, they have to be facing the wind. So we couldn't have them coming in this way. They'd have to be coming in this way. So let's place this one here. And let's place this one here. And another one across the river over here, right next to the bridge. All right. So we like that. Let's try and get that glare out of here a little bit. There, that might be a little better. So let's go over what actually goes on here. So the gliders can come down only in clear, mud, gusty, or snow. Now this scenario says wet and overcast, so SSR always trump the regular rules, so we're going to allow that. Passengers forfeit all of their capabilities. They're exempt from pin and heat of battle and pin task checks. In the movement phase, that's where we are right now, place the ILH facing the wind, did that. And the avenue of approach will be the 5 hexes directly behind the ILH. So it'll be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You get it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. All right. Now we get into defensive first fire and defensive final fire. So only light AA can fire at this point. So that would be any IFE equivalent guns or any heavy machine guns in AA mode. So the Germans surprise the British and they say, haha, we have a AA gun right here. I didn't put the crew down, but so what we do is we look on the star chart, the star line, star vehicle line, and that guy has a 6 IFE. So we are going to go to a 6, and we're going to see the number is a 6. So if we roll less than, let's get our handy dandy dice tower out. If we roll less than the, that's blocking the chart. If we roll less than our star number after modified, then the glider is destroyed with all its contents. If we roll exactly the number, then it is damaged. And if we roll 1 greater than the number, it has to take evasive action. So let's roll, and we roll a 10. So it it does nothing to him. But let's say, just for fun, we had rolled a 3. Well, now it keeps rate of fire, and this glider and all of its contents are destroyed. Okay, gone. Now, it has a 3 rate of fire, goes down by 1 because it's in AA mode, so it's a 2 rate of fire. Oh, look, they rolled a 2, so they keep rate of fire. So this time, it's going to shoot at this glider. Now note, the AA gun, we have line of sight to all the gliders unless the AA gun is in a blind hex. So for example, if this AA gun were here, behind that tree, then that would be blind. That would be the only case where they could be blocked, other than by smoke and LV hindrances. So now he's going to take a shot at him. Now he rolls, and he rolls a 5. All right. So 5, we're going to add 1, because there's a 1 inside the star. It becomes a 6. Well, that's exactly our number on our chart. So, oops. That's not what he rolled. Where is that darned 4? There. That's what he rolled. So he kept the rate of fire again. He rolled a 6. Add 1 for the star. No, he rolled a 5. Add 1 for the star. Becomes a 6. That's exactly his number. He has to perform evasive action. So we do a random die roll for him. Oh, he also kept the rate of fire. So we do random direction distance, and we get 2, 1. So 2 will be 1, 2, 1. So that wasn't so bad. That's his new ILH. So he has a brand new ILH, but he kept rate of fire again, and he's going to shoot again. And wouldn't you know it, he rolls another 6. So he has to do another evasive action. And this can go on all day long. So it'll be 6, 4. So it'll be off board. That's actually good that it landed off board, because that'll serve for our example. 3, 4. All right. Now he kept rate of fire again. He's going to shoot at this guy. And he rolls a 5. I think I did that wrong, by the way, before. It was, I forgot to add in the 1. So he rolls a 5. Let me pull up the 5. He rolls a 5. Lost rate of fire because rate of fire is decreased by 1 in AA mode. And he becomes a 6, so he is damaged. So we are going to mark him with damaged. I don't have a damage counter, so I'm going to mark him with a mine roller damaged counter that I got off of BFP, ding, their module. So the Germans declare that's it for their defensive first fire and final fire. So now we go to the landing. So we roll 1 die, and if the die is a 1 or less, it lands in its ILH. If it's greater than 1, it overshoots if the white die is 4, 5, or 6. And it undershoots if it's a 1, 2, or 3. So now, here are the modifiers for this. There's going to be -1 for each consecutive hex that's clear of an obstacle less than or equal to 1 level above the ILH. So now we're going to do the landing dice roll. So there's going to be 2 dice. The colored die has to be a 1 or less. The modifiers are going to be -1 for each hex in consecutive hex behind the ILH that does not have an obstacle that is more than 1 level above the ILH. So this would count. That's a -1, -1, -1, -1, and this is a level 1.5, so this does not count. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4. We have a -4 on the dice, and on that red die, and then +1 per full level obstacle above ILH, or the highest obstacle along the avenue approach. So this is 1.5, so it'll be a +1. So we have a -1, 2, 3, 4, +1. So we have a net -3. So we roll a 3, 2. So that becomes a 0 on the colored dice because we're taking 3 off. So he does land right here. Okay, next one. This guy right here will roll, and he has -1. And then, oh, a building's behind him. That's 1.5 levels high. So that was a poor spot that I picked. So he's going to have a net 0. So he rolls, and he rolls a 2, 4. So the 2 is modified to a 2, so it was not a 1 or less. So he is going to overshoot or undershoot. Because the white die was a 4, 5, or 6, he's going to overshoot. And the distance he's going to overshoot is how the colored die over a 1. So a 2 is 1 over a 1, the one that he needed. So he's only going to overshoot by 1 hex. So that's his final landing hex. All right. Then we're going to do this guy, this damaged guy. And he is going to roll a 6, 2. So this will be, he has clear behind him is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So he's fine. He has a -5 on his dice. So he does land there. Okay. Then 1, 2, 3. 1 was destroyed. And this guy here has to roll. And he rolls a 5, 5. So we know that there is only 1 free hex before the obstacle. So that's a -1 on the dice. So he's down to a 4. And then there's a +1 for the obstacle. So he is up to a 5. So he does overshoot or undershoot. Again, this is a 4, 5, or 6. So he overshoots. And his final number was a 5. So he overshoots by 5. It would have been great if he undershot by 5 because he'd be right back on the board. So he's going to go out this way. 5 hexes off board. We can butt up another board to this to keep track of where he is. The game is only 5 turns long. He probably won't make it back in because they have to re-enter the board at a rate of 1 hex per movement phase. So it's very slow to get back on. But at least they're not dead, and the Germans do not get casualty victory points for them. Okay, so now we found their final ILHs, and now we're going to do a crash die roll. So if we roll less than a 6 on 1 die, they avoid a crash. Now there's going to be different things that cause. We have our glider crash chart right here on our chapter E divider that came with our rule book. If you don't have that handy, you can always look in your rat charts, and it's there too. So we have a +1 for not landing in final ILH. Glider is damaged. Night landing during gusts. Oh no, landing during gusts, landing in shell holes, trench, hedge, marsh, fordable river, crest line, or location that contains a vehicle wreck, previously landed glider. +2 for landing in orchard, stone wall, graveyard, bocage, depression, roadblock. +3, landing in woods, building, rubble, bridge, crag, cliff, or in a blind hex as determined by the avenue of approach. Now, anything that I named that is hex side related, like a hedge or a wall, those things, it would have to be in the avenue approach, 1 hex directly behind the glider. So as an example, if he lands here, he is indeed next to a hedge, but that hedge is not directly behind the glider, so it does not count. Had he landed here, this hedge is directly behind the glider, so it would count. All right, so let's do the crash landing. So this one first. Yeah, I think he's fine, safe from crashes. So he's fine. This one will have a +1 to his die. So he rolls a 5, becomes a 6. He should be fine. And that was because he did change his ILH. And this one will have a +1 for being damaged. And I think that is it. Now this, even though these are orchards, I do not believe that this constitutes a blind hex because he came in right down the road. Had he been coming in this way, then that would be, sorry, that's a bad example. This way, then that would be a blind hex. All right, so I think it's just a +1 for being damaged. He rolls 1 die, and he rolls a 1. Had he rolled a 6, he would be destroyed because it's his second damage without a wreck. So he lands, he's fine. And then the last glider off board, he rolls, and he rolls a 5, and we're gonna say he's fine, so I don't have to calculate the mirror image of the board. All right, so good. So they're all down. Now, the Germans can final fire against them, defensive final fire against them, and that would be against the star line. And now they can also shoot at them with ordnance. So they do that. If the ordnance does fire at them, there is the +2 to hit for moving target, so moving vehicle, because they moved this turn, they landed. So we're going to use the star line to kill them again, but this time, because they're landed, let's flip them over, because now they're landed. There is no, note, there is no 1 in the star. It's just 2 black stars. So anything we shoot at them, they will need a 6 to damage them and a 5 to kill them. Now, if now that they're landed, if it gets damaged again, the glider is destroyed. There will be a truck wreck put there, and there is a crew survival to the passengers of a 7. Whereas when they were in the air landing, had they been damaged twice, there would be no crew survival and there would be no wreck. So that's the difference right there. So Germans have no fire, so they're fine. Now we go to the advanced fire phase, and now at this point, the British emerge. So the 9-2 comes in. We'll kind of move him back into the camera. Off board, they'll be out of the game. B will come in here. C is dead, they got destroyed by the anti-aircraft gun. D will come in here, and E will come in here. Now, the British can even advance fire on the Germans. Of course, they have the advanced fire phase penalties. And then we continue the turn like normal. Just a note, the gliders, unless they're wrecked, they take the form of a truck wreck counter. They are a hindrance and not a TEM. So there is a 0 TEM in that hex other than coming across the hedge. So, well, yeah. And same thing goes for the rest of them. So that's it. I hope you enjoyed this. It's certainly not totally encompassing the glider rules, but it should get you started. Thanks so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed it, and I hope to get another one out to you soon.